There we go. You guys ready? I'm ready. We're gonna rock and roll. Okay. In compliance with the Open Public Meeting Law, I wish to state that on May 6, 2022, the notice of this meeting of the Upper Township Committee was posted on the official Township Bulletin Board, the Upper Township website, mailed to the Cape May County Gazette, the Atlantic City Press, the Ocean City Sentinel Ledger, the Herald Times, and filed with the Township Clerks. Tonight's meeting is being video recorded up to and until the closed session portion of this meeting and will be available on the Upper Township website. I hereby direct that the announcement be made part of the minutes of this meeting. Would everyone please stand for the flag salute?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Barbara, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Coggin?
Here.
Ms. Hayes?
Here.
Mr. Newman?
Here.
Mr. Pankos?
Here.
Mayor Corson?
Present.
All members are present.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the April 25th regular and closed session minutes.
Second.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Ms. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Newman?
Yes.
Mr. Pankos?
Yes.
Mayor Corson?
Yes.
Motion carried. All in favor?
Okay, moving on to reports of government bodies and administrative reports. Craig, or Gary, do you have anything to respond?
Well, I'd like to make the board members first opportunity to speak about each one of your departments, and then we'll
Okay.
go into my administrative report.
Okay, we'll go from there then.
Dan Reeves first.
No, that's going to be administrative.
He's administrative.
We'll do what elected. We'll do what it says here. You guys got to change up there. Okay, I guess, John, do you have anything to say?
Nothing this evening.
All right, Kim, do you have anything?
I have a couple things. So first, for anybody who didn't see the announcement, our skate park, the repairs have been finished and it's reopened. So I'd like to thank our Public Works Department, our engineer, and our township administrator for all of their efforts getting that reopened safely and able to be utilized for the summer months. Long-term plan for that is still to replace it. We have an open application with County Open Space. We're looking to modernize it. It is an old facility, even though we were able to make the repairs to it. I would also like to thank our Public Works Department, specifically Craig, and also the state police. There was some acts of vandalism at the Amanda's Field facility. They were able to get that cleaned up, and there's an ongoing investigation. The state police have an increased presence there, and we haven't had a second incident as a result of that. The other thing that I have is I had a few members of the township reach out to me inquiring about the possibility of installing disc golf out of the Amanda's Field complex. For those of you who used to call it froth or frisbee golf. So Craig looked into that for us, and we were able to move forward with that very, very inexpensively. So we're going to install a 9-hole disc golf course at Amanda's Field sometime in the next few weeks. We also went through the final planning meeting for our July 4th celebration. We have that pretty much set up. We're starting to reach out to vendors. We'll be reaching out to our fire companies and EMS. We've had some preliminary conversations with them about the safety plan. But now we're looking to enlist some of our vendors. I know we've reached out to the Business Association, so we have a meeting with them coming up next week to sit down and see how we can better partner with them. We're excited to see that moving forward. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Mark, do you have anything?
Mr. Mayor, just a couple things here. Our Public Works Department, again, is getting the accolades for the way they handled the nor'easter this past weekend. I know I had a couple phone calls about trees down blocking certain access to some of our parks and things like that, and Craig and his crew were right on that, and thank you very much for taking care of that. Also, I'd like to let the public know that on May 16th, they're going to start collecting any brush from this past nor'easter. So if anybody of the public that has any kind of brush or limbs, damaged limbs and things like that, they can start putting them out now until Sunday, May 15th, with collection starting Monday, May 16th. Our Public Works Department is going to take care of that for us. I'd like to again thank Gary. A couple things for Public Works and the group that's under my purview. I had asked him to come up with a couple cost-saving measures that we could do with our Public Works employees specifically, and that is to hire internally. That allows us to save on pensions and benefits. and try to bring a little more of efficient government to help save the taxpayer money. And Gary was able to do that with Mr. Kazmarski. So I'd like to thank the team for working on that to get that done. That's it, Mr.
Well, I believe he's gonna move over to code enforcement.
He's moving over to code, yeah.
And I believe we have to do that by resolution at some time.
Correct, correct.
At our next meeting, probably. Yes.
That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Jay, do you have anything for us?
Of course I do. First of all, the recent storm produced actually very few calls in the way of emergencies due to the storm. I know that there were a couple of reports of trees down, in which Marmora went out on. I didn't hear anybody else. That doesn't mean they didn't. Might have missed it. But and what we usually do is we only go down at trees down that are blocking access to emergency vehicles. Okay, that are on township, either township, county, or state road. We'll gain access, and then we'll move everything off to the side of the road. We don't take them away. We just make sure everybody can get through. We need to get an ambulance or a fire truck in there. That's what our goal is. Or if there's a safety hazard with regard to trees into wires, which I don't think we had anything. Melissa, you don't call anything, right? So it was pretty benign, although it's a long time since I've seen the wind blow that hard for that many days in a row. From the same direction, usually it spins around and blows it out. But that being said, also want to announce that most of you may or may not know that the Marmora Fire Company will be having its 75th anniversary celebration June 11th, which is a Saturday. I think it's from 1 to 5. I don't know, but I think it's from 1 to 5. There'll be a lot more information coming out of it. Right now, we've had a fantastic outreach from the business community through placing ads in an ad book and a sponsor book and sponsoring some of the events that are going on there. So it's just been a great event. Hopefully it'll be a great event. The last thing I want to bring up is, ironically, Mayor Corson, I was talking to him earlier today, and he stated that today.
Tell them what we were.
Huh?
You can tell them what we're doing.
Oh, well, we were at the Marmora Firehouse, because the Marmora Firehouse was utilized this morning as a stop for the police unity tour. It's not the police
Unity tour or whatever.
Yeah, there's some
They're by
law
some
enforcement
fucking-
unity. There's two of them, but this was one of them. And Mayor Corson's son Summers was involved in it, and they came rolling in. It was a rest stop, and they're on their way to Washington D.C. in support of the law enforcement memorial that is down there, and they meet down there in a couple days. So hopefully they're on a ferry now, or just getting off the ferry and heading off to the last leg of today's journey. But anyway, he reached over to me and said, "Hey, you know that today is the anniversary of his father being killed. For those of you who don't know, Mayor Corson's father, Kurt Corson Sr. at the time, was killed in a house fire on Harbor Road on May 9th, 1979. How do I know that? Because I was actually a senior in high school at the time and was exited stage left to go assist at the time. And it was one of the first fires I was on, and he was just in the fire company, and unfortunately he was killed as the first and only Upper Township firefighter that was killed in the line of duty some 43 years ago. So sorry to bring that up, but that's what it is. 43 years ago, Kurt's father passed away, and Kurt, you had to be, how old were you?
I was
14.
Well, you would have forgot about it today if I didn't remind you.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
And I didn't think about it until I was at the firehouse. So.
Yeah. So that just goes back to the long history and lineage of volunteer and public safety in our families in the township. So that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you, Jay. The only thing I have is Osprey Point has invited us to again attend the Memorial Day service, and that's going to be promptly at 11 o'clock at the Godfrey Memorial Park at Osprey Point in Seaboard. So hopefully everybody can make it, and it's usually a well-attended event and a nice day. So, all right, I guess at this point, we'll administration reports.
Well, I want to thank you for inviting me to the day of prayer, Your Honor. I mean, this was a well-attended religious event by all the parishes in the community. I think it was well tell you that we did capitalize on that mantra that you gave us, and Committeeman Pancos had hit on it. Hire internally, save on pensions and benefits, support the employees that support the community, refining the pay scale, and efficient government saving to the taxpayers. And what we did there, Your Honor, was exactly what you asked us to do with the help of Mr. Reeves and Mr. Dietrich. And we put together a savings to the taxpayer and expanded a code and municipal sanitation person in the community. So I think that was fantastic.
Are we planning on backfilling Mr. Kazmarski's position?
No, we are not. No, we are not.
He's going to also do the recycling coordination and all that, so should be noticeable cost savings.
We could always hire, and we could always bring on additional people, but that's pension and benefits. For every dollar that you put in a salary, you're paying about $1 to keep that employee. So if we could reduce and keep it internally and expand on the abilities of our current workforce, that's what we're going to try to do. I had the pleasure of working with the command staff, and I call them, they're the boots on the ground, they're the generals, and the majority that are here tonight. And I just want to make sure that we all know who puts these agendas together so eloquently and so detailed. Ms. Young is our clerk. Ms. Young, you can raise your hand. I guess they kind of know who you are, but she is fantastic.
28 years, I hope.
28 years. Just amazing to watch them work. Mrs. Ludi is our CFO. I'm impressed. She's got Mr. Leon next to her from Fort Scott and Kennedy. From what I've seen from Mrs. Ludi, does everybody know Barbara Ludi? Fantastic. She runs our CFO office. Next to her is Mr. Paul Dietrich. He's our engineer. He's the guy that puts all the flow charts together and makes sure that the zoning and the planning and the playgrounds and what we did for Mrs. Hayes was absolutely correct. He was the one that was the impetus on pushing the county to get that park open for us. Next is Melissa Coker. She's our EMS deputy, not deputy chief, she's our acting chief. And she's got quite a staff over in that EMS building. And she's been working diligently to kind of redefine and redirect it. Next to her is Rhonda Sharp. Mrs. Sharp is our tax collector. And she's also the second half of the team of Barbara and Rhonda, who will run our personnel office. And she's just the kindest. Sister Rhonda is perfect for that HR unit. And next to her is Mr. Reeves. And before you hit send on an email that did he take care of a problem, he's calling you and saying, hey, that problem is taken care of. Just fantastic, fantastic. He also came up with taking care of the vandalism before the paint dried at Amanda's Field, and he also was the catalyst for getting the New Jersey State Police for more presence and a more detailed police property checks in that area. And the other lady, she's with family today, but that's Mrs. Megan McPhee. She's our tax assessor, and she comes up with what the properties and values are to kind of keep it all in check. But without these people here, the municipality doesn't really operate as well as it does. Ms. Hayes had mentioned about the Frisbees. They're on order. Some big pictures. Committeeman Newman had given me a small task on putting exit 0 back in, putting another exit 20 exit ramp. So I think by the end of the month, we should golden shovel that exit 20, right? We should get that done. Also zip codes. Zip codes was on his agenda. He's trying to tighten up zip codes. We're coming into the summer season now, so lifeguards and parking and all the other seasonal people that are coming on board. So at this point, I'd like to pivot back to the mayor. And Mayor, you can kind of go around to each one of your disciplines and ask if they have anything to report. Whoever you'd like to start with.
Okay. Barbara, you have anything for us tonight?
Nothing to add at this time, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. And for the first time. Dan Reeves, do you have anything for us tonight?
I would like to formally thank the committee for this opportunity to represent the township. I'm very excited about it and looking forward to it. And I'd also like to thank Dan Young for all of his assistance with the transition into this role. Thank you.
Paul, do you have anything for us?
Yeah, thank you. First, I need authorization to bid two NJDOT road projects in Strathmere. One is Phase 4 of Bayview Drive, and the other is for Prescott Avenue. So I need a motion for that to authorize me to go out to bid for those projects.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Ms. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Newman?
Yes.
Mr. Pankos?
Yes.
Mayor Corson?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
I've also been working with you, Mayor, regarding, we're looking at utilizing some of the COVID capital improvement funds for some stormwater pump in Strathmere. So I've gotten some of my preliminary information, and I'm ready to kind of put that project finalized together, and I'd like to go ahead and put that out to bid too.
Which goes hand in hand with the reconstruction of the Bayview Avenue.
It's gonna,
Yes.
one of those streets is right there, so we'll be able to tie some of those projects together.
I'll make a motion that we put it together.
Second. Please call the roll.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Ms. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Newman?
Yes.
Mr. Pankos?
Yes.
Mayor Corson?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
And once I have the final prints before they actually go to bid, the committee will all receive copies of all those plans, so you're aware of the final layout of what's gonna happen there. I had a request from a resident to have some emergency roof repairs. It's actually, her brother came in, she's 101 years old, and she needs a little help with getting her roof repaired. I did collect some of her preliminary information and sent it over to Triad, and they have certified that she meets the income eligibility requirements. And so I would like authorization to put on an upcoming resolution to move her forward in the emergency repair process.
I'll
Make a motion to authorize.
Second.
Is she already being helped, or is it leaking? Is it obviously?
I think it's been an ongoing issue. So we're gonna, as soon as we get, she has a little bit more paperwork to complete. So once we have that information, then we can send out to get estimates on what the repairs would be. And then once we have those estimates from 3 vendors, we'll bring that back through the process. But I at least wanted to get that authorization to continue that process.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Ms. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Newman?
Yes.
Mr. Pankos?
Yes.
Mayor Corson?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
That's all I had this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Barbara, come in.
I have nothing this evening.
We'll get to you in a little bit later. Okay, first thing on our agenda is a presentation here, but we have
So
to,
item 1 on the agenda, we'll need to have the adoption of the resolution recognizing Daniel J. Young for his service to the Township of Upper and extending to him our best wishes for his future endeavors.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
please call the roll.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Ms. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Newman?
Yes.
Mr. Pankos?
Yes.
Mayor Corson?
Yes, by all means.
Motion is carried.
So now we're going to present this. So Dan, I guess you want to come up, or? Not really. All right. Come on up here with us. I'm going to read this into the record, though. Whereas Daniel J. Young has served as Township of Upper for over 30 years, beginning as an attorney for the planning and zoning boards in 1991, and then as a township solicitor from March 1st, 2003 to April 30th of 2022. Whereas through his tenure, Dan has served the Upper Township with honor, wisdom, and unwavering commitment to fairness and justice. And whereas as a natural-born leader, Dan has guided the Township Committee members, Township employees through numerous legal issues, projects, and crises, including Strathmere beach replenishment, obtaining public rights to the beach, Strathmere de-annexation, affordable housing, the COVID-19 pandemic, and the sale of BL England, successfully protecting the township and its residents from serious and sometimes frivolous litigation, Whereas without fail, Dan has empathized to the highest and ethical standards all aspects of life and imparted a lasting legacy of honesty, morality, integrity to all who have known and worked with him. And whereas his kindness, his wit, his boundless energy, and superior legal knowledge will surely be missed. Whereas be it resolved by the Township Committee on behalf of the citizens of Upper Township, the County of Cape May, the State of New Jersey, we publicly recognize and honor Dan Young for his service and dedication to our township, and to extend to him our best wishes for continued success in the future endeavors. Given our hands the seal of the Township of Upper, 9th day of May, 2029. Those of you who don't know, Dan Young and I started years ago. I was made vice chair of the planning board. Probably within 4 months, the chairman quit, the solicitor quit. Dan Young and I have been working together since. So this all goes for a picture.
You're ready to bend down a little bit so you're my level. If I may, just for a minute. Your presence. Last meeting, I thanked everyone, but I want to do it again. I can't say how much of a joy it's been representing this town. I couldn't have done it without the people in Township Hall. I couldn't have done it without Public Works, the Division of EMS, and all of the Township Committee members over the years. But there's two people I really want to thank especially. I'm glad he came tonight. I didn't think he was going to. But one of the toughest jobs a lawyer has is he has to give people bad news sometimes. He has to tell them no. But one of the best clients a lawyer can have is someone that's reasonable and with integrity. And for decades I had that in Rich Colombo. And the second person, and Barbara Young will know what it's like to have to deal with me day in and day out. My wife Kathleen has had to deal with me 24/7 for 38 years almost. So thank you, Kathleen.
Enjoy it, go home, and share with your wife.
Here for a closed session.
Well, you can share it all the
Thank you.
Thanks, Stephen.
All right, that was, Dan, thank you again. All right, we'll move on to the budget here, Mark.
Okay. Right, this is the public hearing and final adoption of ordinance number 8, 2022, calendar year 2022, ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank. I don't know if Leon has anything you'd like to say.
Leon, do you want to?
Sure, this is a routine ordinance that you do every year,
Yeah.
and we are not exceeding our expending cap, even though it says that's what the ordinance title is. We're doing the banking part of it. We're $600,000 under the spending cap, so it's misleading the way this is done, but it's a boilerplate ordinance from the state that we have to use. But we're not exceeding anything, we're actually banking $600,000.
Okay, at this time, we'll have to open it to the public in regards to ordinance number 8 of 2022. Does anybody have any comments on ordinance number 8 of 2022? If not, we'll close the public portion and look for a motion to introduce.
No, I'll make a motion to adopt
Adopt, yes.
ordinance number 8 of 2022.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Robbins?
Yes.
Ms. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Newman?
Yes.
Mr. Panfuss?
Yes.
Mayor Corson?
Yes.
Motion is carried. In favor? Item number 3, authorizing the meeting of the 2022
Second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Ms. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Newman?
Yes.
Mr. Pankos?
Yes.
Mayor Corson?
Yes.
Carried, with all in favor, thank you very much for that. 2022 budget, this is the public hearing.
Correct. So this budget that is up for public hearing is the same one that was introduced back on March 28th. We've made no changes to it since then. You're self-examined, so the state doesn't have to prove it. Internally, between the two of us, we make sure everything is correct, and Barbara will certify that everything is correct in the resolution 2 away from now. So this is the public hearing on the budget that was introduced. We have not made any changes to it, and there has not been any consultations, I believe, to ask for any changes to it. So now you'd open up to the public, let the public comment on it, and then proceed with a motion to adopt, a motion to amend, or a motion to table.
Yeah, before we open it to the public, does anybody, any of my colleagues have any comments? Okay, I guess at this time we're going to open it to the public. Would anybody like to comment on our 2022 budget? Okay, I guess hearing no public comment, we'll move to close the public portion and look for a motion to adopt it.
I'll make a motion to adopt the budget, the 2022 budget.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Coggins?
No.
Ms. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Newman?
Yes.
Mr. Pankos?
Yes.
Mayor Corson?
Yes.
We have 4 yes votes.
You good?
We can move forward with this. Motion is carried. With 4 in favor. All right, now I'll read the resolution. Be it resolved by the Township Committee of the Township of Upper and County of Cape May that the budget herein before set forth hereby adopted and shall constitute an appropriation for the purposes stated of the sums therein set forth as appropriations and authorization of the amount of $4,764,871.78 for municipal purposes. And then we have the local budget exam resolution.
And this resolution, as I stated before, it was, since you're self-exam, you have to pass a resolution that Barbara's reviewed everything, I've reviewed everything, and it's acceptable, and off we go.
I'll move that resolution.
Second.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Ms. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Newman?
Yes.
Mr. Pankos?
Yes.
Mayor Corson?
Yes.
Motion is carried. All in favor? Okay, very good. Thank you.
I'm good.
Thank you, Leo.
Thank you, Leon.
Thanks, Leon.
And then, the other thing is that when the budget is over, usually it's like, okay, we're done, we gotta get started again on the next one. Yes, it doesn't stop, it just, rolls right into the next one.
Yes, thank you, Leon. and
Thanks.
And Barb, thank you.
Thank you, Leon. Thank
Good
you.
night.
Thank you. Okay, moving on. We have the consent agenda. All resolutions listed below are considered to be routine in nature and will be enacted by one motion. If the mayor or any committee member wishes a particular resolution to be considered separately, it will be removed from the consent agenda and acted on separately. Are there any items of the items listed, numbers 1 to 17, that you would like to remove at this time?
Not this time. In favor?
Not at this time, okay.
I'd like to make a motion, we adopt the consent agenda.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Ms. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Newman?
Yes.
Mr. Pankos?
Yes.
Mayor Corson?
Yes.
Motion is carried, with all in favor. Moving on to the ordinances. Number 18, public hearing and final adoption of ordinance number 9, 2022. Bond ordinance of the Township of Upper County of Cape May, New Jersey, canceling certain funded appropriation balances heretofore provided for various capital projects and reappointing such funded appropriation balances for other capital projects, and this again is the public hearing.
At this time, we'll open it up to the public, if anybody would like to comment on ordinance number 9 of 2022, which is the repurpose of our bond. Okay, hearing no public portion or public comments, we'll close the public portion and look for a motion to entertain.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Ms. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Newman?
Yes.
Mr. Pankos?
Yes.
Mayor Corson?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Is all in favor? Item number 19.
Excuse me, Mayor Corson, I did discuss item number 19 with Mr. DeMarzo this week regarding that pending ordinance. I did receive correspondence this week indicating that there could be potential litigation regarding that ordinance. And I have recommended that we place that for the closed session this evening. So the committee could go into closed session now to discuss that item, reopen for public comment, and then go everything else on closed session. After the fact, you could open it for public comment now and keep public comment open until the next meeting. You could skip public comment tonight and open it to public comment at the next meeting as the committee decides to be appropriate.
Well, I have to step down. I do have a campground, so I have to step down, and I cannot be involved with it. I think Jay has a conflict, so
I'm
at
gonna,
this time, I'm going to defer to, I think,
yeah, I think I stepped up last time.
yes.
So I'm gonna make a motion that we table this until the next meeting, so we have time to discuss it in closed session tonight.
Postpone.
Postpone, rather than table. It's a Robert's Rules of Order thing, but
Fair enough.
we'll just postpone it, yeah.
So,
Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
Mr. Coggins?
yes.
Ms. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Newman? Abstains. Mr. Pankos?
Yes.
Mayor Corson? Abstains.
Abstain, yeah.
Okay.
So you got to abstain.
Motion is carried, 3 in favor, 2 abstentions.
The number 20 then.
To our next meeting. Our next meeting is going to be held on May 23rd at 6:30 PM. All right, item number 19. Public hearing and final adoption of ordinance number 12, 2022, an ordinance vacating a portion of Ocean Crest Avenue within the Township of Upper, County of Cape May, and the State of New Jersey.
That's item 20.
Item number 20. Ordinance 12, 2022, sorry. Public hearing again.
Okay, was anybody in the public like to comment on the ordinance number 12 of 2022? Pretty quiet there. Hearing no public comment, we'll close the public portion and move for adoption.
I'll make a motion to adopt.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Ms. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Newman?
Yes.
Mr. Pankos?
Yes.
Mayor Corson?
Yes.
Carried. Item number 21. Public hearing and final adoption of ordinance number 13, and ordinance amending ordinance number 12, 2020, known as the salary ordinance for the calendar year 2021, and I believe Mr. Reeves has a couple.
So yes, again, in consultation with Mr. DeMarzo, I understand that there is a pending personnel matter that would impact the salary ordinance, and so there has been discussion of moving that to discussion during closed session, and either waiting until after closed session to have a public hearing, or postponing the ordinance hearing until the next meeting.
I would like to make a motion that we go ahead and postpone the public hearing until the next meeting.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Ms. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Newman?
Yes.
Mr. Pankos?
Yes.
Mayor Corson?
Yes.
Motion is
I believe 22 and 23 have the similar threads.
Yes, I would agree with that.
So those recommendations are gonna stand.
I think we should probably do a separate motion.
Yes, I'm just letting the committee know that those three all have a similar thread intertwined, and that we should postpone. That's the recommendation.
Okay, public hearing and final adoption of ordinance number 14, 2022. An ordinance revising job classifications and titles and amending chapter 5 entitled Personnel of the Code of Upper Township.
I make a motion, we postpone it till May 23rd.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Ms. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Newman?
Yes.
Mr. Pankos?
Yes.
Mayor Corson?
Yes.
Okay, item number 23, public hearing and final adoption of ordinance number 15. An ordinance amending ordinance number 18, 2021, known as the salary ordinance for the calendar year 2022.
Make a motion to postpone till May 23rd.
Second.
Motion
Please
carries.
call the roll.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Ms. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Newman?
Yes.
Mr. Pankos?
Yes.
Mr. Corson?
Yes.
Motion's carried with all in favor. I'll be for a loop here. All right, item number 24, American Legion, Aaron Whitcamp, Caldwell Post 239, request to hold raffle number 550 at the Heritage Links Golf Course, 1375 Route 9 on August 20th, 2022.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Ms. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Newman?
Yes.
Mr. Pankos?
Yes.
Mayor Corson?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Item number 25, Flood Response Plan, the CRS Activity 610. That's
Paul?
Mr.
Thank you. This is a plan that it kind of addresses how officially the township responds in a flood emergency, what activities that we do to, to put out flood warnings and those different things. A lot of the activities are codified in the emergency operations plan that the emergency office puts out. So, and it's really just how FEMA and the CRS program wants us to just provide them and show them how we provide this plan. This is one of the prerequisites to so that we can go to a Class 4 CRS community. If you recall, in this plan, but we had got prepared and adopted last year was our watershed management plan. That was the other prerequisite that we needed to go to Class 4. FEMA has done a preliminary review of that plan and has accepted that. So once we, if the committee sees so fit to adopt this flood response plan and we can do a resolution at the next meeting, I can then take that, wrap it up to FEMA and ISO, and we should be able to submit and have sufficient points and prerequisites to lower our class rating from Class 5 to a Class 4, which would make our residents eligible for an additional 5% discount on their flood insurance premiums, lowering it to a 30% discount for flood insurance premiums. We may even be close to a Class 3, but I'm not getting that hopeful. But I know we have enough for a Class 4 with the submissions of the watershed management plan and this flood response plan.
So we need a resolution at our next meeting.
We need a resolution at the next meeting. And if you're in for some light reading, there's probably over 500 pages of in this plan to review. But most of it's incorporation of several other plans. Our hazard mitigation appendix from the county all hazards plan, the emergency operations plan, and the watershed management plan. That's what makes up the bulk of this plan.
Well, let's, I guess, get it on the agenda for our next meeting.
Can we have a motion?
I'll make that in form of a motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Ms. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Newman?
Yes.
Mr. Pankos?
Yes.
Mayor Corson?
Yes.
Motion's carried.
Thank you.
Payment of bills?
I hereby move that all claims submitted for payment at this meeting be approved and then incorporated in full in the minutes of this meeting.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Ms. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Newman?
Yes.
Mr. Pankos?
Yes.
Mayor Corson?
Yes.
Karen?
We have reports from our animal control, clerk's office, construction code, division of EMS, finance office, MUA report, and the public works, and the tax collector. They will be available at the clerk's office tomorrow. I'd like to make a motion and we accept the reports.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Ms. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr. Newman?
Yes.
Mr. Pankos?
Yes.
Mayor Corson?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
This time we'll open to the public. Is there anyone in the public that would like to comment? Yes, sir. Come up to the microphone.
Good evening, everybody. Just wanted to say thank you to the Public Works too, by the way. The street cleaning, from snow removal to street cleaning to picking up the brush, I think Upper Township looks fantastic, and our neighborhood is just so beautiful, and I want to thank the Public Works. I think they do, the people that are in the trucks do a fantastic job, and just wanted to extend my appreciation for that. I'm out working in my yard, and I see them every day somewhere, so thank you very much. Quick question, did I hear something about exit 20?
Yeah, exit 20 is one of their big picture items, and I'll be contacting the state to find out what happened to exit 20 and why it fell off the map. My initial conversations with the powers in the state is that it's still an active consideration. You know, it's one of those things, of course you can have it. All you have to do is bring us the ring of Saturn. And then once you bring us the ring of Saturn, we'll consider it again. So we're gonna dig down relative to where it's at, what the last correspondence was on a county level, on a state level, and start bringing that back to the committee.
Is there something that the community can do to help you?
Not at this point. I want to get a firm grip on where that file is and how deep it is on somebody's desk, and then we'll start to bring it in. But again, that's the big vision.
Okay, terrific. That sort of like helps with my next question. I was really wondering what committee is doing to help the town centers, especially that Seaville Acme Shopping Center, and exit 20 would be a huge boost. So if that would happen, that's tremendous. But is there anything, assuming that exit 20, the ball is rolling, in the short term, is anything happening for our town centers? Any immediate plans to revitalize our town centers? Especially, I mean, I live down in Seaville, and that Acme Shopping Center is a nightmare.
I believe that Mrs. Hayes can kind of detail relative to what the meetings that she wants me to set with the business community, and the mayor has a few bullet points as well that he has put towards my office.
Well, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of moving parts with it. We do have the new code enforcement officer. We're going to actually do everything we can at that level.
That's great.
The problem is with the Cedar Square Shopping Center, that's just part of the problem, is an absentee owner. Everything is going to be,
Does zoning have any, for a better word, juice, or like, can they hold her up to a standard? I mean, there's, CVS and Roosevelt Boulevard people, it's nice to see Roosevelt Boulevard, the owners of the buildings along Roosevelt Boulevard do a lot of the landscaping, even CVS, when the plants die, they replace them, et cetera. So,
the CVS in Moore wasn't without its issues. There was a couple.
Yeah, I remember
there was
that.
A while back, we had issues there.
But in Seville, it's just,
Code
it's,
enforcement is going to be proactive. We're going to do a resolution at our next meeting to put
Okay.
somebody in the code enforcement. We had a meeting prior to this. I believe that one started at 1 o'clock this afternoon. And we're going to have, the code enforcement is going to be proactive, and we're going to have an active role in trying to get things improved.
that's
And it
exciting.
would help me, I'm a mission statement guy, and the committee here has given me bullet points, and I have to refine them from big picture items to something that I can maintain. So it would be very helpful if you want to email me those concerns, so they're not amorphic, they're not big picture, it has to look better. Okay, well, what's better?
Right.
So if you have different things that the municipality can address through public works or through ordinances, through clean-in liens, through a different type of zoning regulations that we have, it'd be helpful for you to specifically contact my office for what the municipality can do to address those.
Is your contact information on the website?
Yes, yeah, my contact information is on the website,
All
yeah.
right, perfect. Well, I appreciate it. I mean, it would really be nice to see the revitalization of the town centers, especially Roosevelt Boulevard, Seaville, and Tuckahoe, and I appreciate the efforts that you're making. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Ed DiMarcantonio, 17 Putnam Avenue, Strathmere. I want to go back a year ago. I came to committee and Public Works, Engineering, and asked to have the porta potties moved from the street to the beach. It was quickly done. So to former Mayor Palumbo, who's here, and everyone else, a big thank you. It was done quickly. My personal opinion, was a great idea. Seemed like more people used it, more people had access to it, and I hope we're doing it again this year.
I think we learned something last year that's gonna, a few things are gonna change with the porta potties. Last year, we had issues with them being pumped at 2 o'clock in the morning. That's obviously gonna be changed. It's not gonna happen this year. Porta potties are gonna be put where they wound up at the end of the season last year, so I don't anticipate a problem.
Great, thank you very much. Second point, and again, it's more of a general question, not sure if I have an answer tonight. I understand that Sea Isle, through some changes in the FEMA flood zones, are now planning on bringing their sewer up through the end of Sea Isle through the north end. Wondering where Upper Township is and looking at sewers for Strathmere. I know this has been an ongoing back and forth, lots of rumors, lots of discussions over the last 20 years that we've been here. I know from what I hear is that, Strathmere is the last barrier island on the East Coast on-site septic. So I would encourage the committee and ask, maybe it's a review by Paul, maybe it's a meeting with the town residents of Strathmere. I know a lot of people are for it, a lot of people are against it. I think environmentally, it could be time, and with CL coming, I don't know if they're coming next week or 10 years from now. So I look for any information I can get on
Paul,
that.
do you have any information on the CO?
Well, I know CL is working on it. I do not know their current status of, are they in the permitting phase, budgeting phase? I don't know. I can find that out and report back to the committee for sure.
Are we talking poop or stormwater? When
I'm
say
sorry, can you say that again?
Talking poop or stormwater?
Sewage.
Yeah, okay.
So we can look into it and
Thank you very much.
is there anyone else in the public?
Natalie Neese, block 476, lot 29. I used to come to these meetings, but I didn't come to a lot since the pandemic. The Atlantic City Press on 413 quoted you, Mayor Corson, last paragraph. His resume speaks for itself. So I made a Oprah request for Gary DeMarzo's resume, and I'm told there's no resume on file.
No, there's not.
May I speak to that, Mayor?
Yes, I'm sure Gary's willing to tell you his resume like he told me.
Being in and out of government as long as I have, each one of the commissioners, absent of Mr. Coggins, was shown my resume, and I specifically asked for its return. Unfortunately, the ability to contact employees, friends, families, prior businesses become nefarious, and unfortunately, I do not keep a resume on file.
Well, I'm a good bit confused about how you just appeared on the scene.
Well, I didn't appear on the scene. I'm in the county for 30 years.
No, I mean in Upper
Skilled in
Township.
municipal government. So if I walk through the halls, the people know me that lived here, people that I'm friends of friends. So I didn't get off the bus from Minnesota Tuesday, but the question specific to my resume is that it's not on file.
Well, how did you put in an application with Upper Township?
The referral was made to the commissioners, and I met with the commissioners individually, and a decision was made.
A referral was made?
A who?
What did you say? A referral was made to the
What did you
commissioner?
say?
You said
A referral was made, right, a referral.
To who?
Friendly referral to
To
the
who?
commissioners.
the commissioners or the township committee?
Again, this is not a deposition, and this is not gonna go back and forth where you're not gonna get an answer that you're uncomfortable with and continue to get one that you are comfortable with. The question is there's no resume on file.
Okay. On May the 3rd, I copied you on, or I wrote to you, Mr. DiMarzo, and my correspondence I copied to you, Mayor Corson. Did you get a copy of it?
He did not get a copy yet. It's with my office and it's with Mr. Dietrich, and we're looking relative into your claims from 1995, I think, what the original claim was.
I'm not sure if you, are you talking about the state yard, the contamination?
I'm
at,
talking
Block
about the letter,
476, Lot 1?
the letter
I
that
mean,
you
that's
presented
been
to
long.
me. The letter that you presented to me dates back to 1995. So I gave that to Mr. Dietrich, and we're gonna do our due diligence to present the question that you want answered.
Okay, well, I'm not sure, but I think the contamination at Block 476, Lot 1, goes back probably further than that.
There you go. So I got my due diligence ready to go. I gotta go back. I only came here April 12th, so I mean, I have to go back to 95.
Well, can we get an update at all on the cleanup of the environmental
Which
There is-
property are we
contamination?
talking about?
There is no update at this point. The letter is with Mr. Dietrich.
What property are we talking about?
Block 476, Lot 1.
If I had the tax map in front of me, it'd be easy, but could we find it somewhere a little bit better?
I would guess, but I would hate to guess if she, I mean, without looking it up, I can look it up, but there's,
At this point, Your Honor, would just be speculating. She submitted a letter, and that letter is being
I
addressed.
mean, if all those, if Natalie's only gonna identify it by lot and block, I don't wanna
Which
specify.
property is it besides Lot and Block? Does it,
It's the state yard, and it has a sign posted on it now
okay,
that it's a cleanup site, and
okay, that's all.
I don't recall really ever having any updates on, and that dates back to at least 2013 that I know of. Contamination in the soil, the water, and the air, and it's some serious stuff.
Okay, that's the state yard we're talking about, okay.
I'd have to,
Okay.
I don't know when the last time I saw one of the monitoring new well reports. But I'd have to look it up.
Have you reached out to the Department of Transportation?
Back when the Misty Meadows was going in there, yes, I did.
I mean about the state yard property.
Yeah, They're within, I think, what is it, 100 foot? Yeah, and I think there's testing done regularly, maybe every 6 months at the middle school. There's water that's delivered in tanks. And on the back street there, Mr. Dietrich knows about it. He was at the meetings. Anyway, Kim Hayes, were you in Florida on April 25th?
That's none of your business.
Yes?
I'm sorry, that's personal information that I'm not really comfortable sharing with the public. What I do outside of my time on township committee is between my family and I.
Really?
Yeah.
How about you, Mr. Mark Pancos? Were you in Florida? on
Mr. Mayor, I'd like
April
to
25th?
bring this background. This is public comment. This is not real.
Yeah, if you want to interrogate him, I'm sure you could find a lawyer who would be more than happy to William to
I didn't know that I needed a lawyer.
I also want to remind the council that there is an ordinance on the book for 5 minutes in total for each speaker, and she's at 4:50.
Okay, well, let me say, on 4/25, there was a township committee meeting. It was the last meeting, and I was here, and Ms. Hayes, you were not here, and Mr. Pancoast, you were not here.
Digress.
And I'm curious, did you get paid to be here?
Well, thank you for your input, Mrs. Neese. I'm going to advise them they don't have to answer that question.
Thank you.
Is there any more public comment? Hearing no more public comment, we'll entertain a motion to go into closed session.
I'll make a motion to go to closed session.
Well, we gotta.
I got a list of them.
Who's got the,
I'd like to make a motion to go into closed session for the following matters pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act. The matters of personnel, contract negotiation with medical direction services, contract negotiation shared service agreement with Maurice, River Township and Cumberland County, contract negotiation redevelopment agreement, and potential litigation for zoning permit denials.
second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Coggins?
Yes.
Ms. Hayes?
Yes.
Mr.
Mr. Newman?
Yes.
Mr. Pankhurst?
Yes.
Mayor Corson?
Yes. All right, we're gonna take a brief intermission, and then, the first thing we're gonna do is we'll do the Mally and Reed, or,